husband and wife who lived in a large forest. They had only one daughter who was 3 years old. They're so poor that they don't even have bread to eat every day. They don't know what to feed their children.
Typecast.
One morning, the woodcutter went into the forest to cut wood, was cutting trees, and suddenly he saw a beautiful fat woman standing in front of him. The woman had a crown of sparkling stars on her head. She said,
"I am Mary, mother of Jesus. You are poor, needy. Give your child to me to raise it. I will take care of it like a mother and child."
The woodcutter obeyed, giving the child to Mary to carry to heaven. The child up there was very happy, eating biscuits, drinking milk, clothes embroidered with shiny gold thread, playing with angels. When the child was 14 years old, Our Lady called and said,
"My dear, I have to go away. Now I give you the keys to the 13 gates of the upper world. You are only allowed to open the 12 doors to see the wondrous things. But the 13th door, this little key forbids me to open it. Don't open the door, you're in danger."
The girl promised to obey the instructions. After the departure of the Virgin Mary, every day she opened a door to the room to see. Sitting in the room was a bright aura radiating around. She and the angels who went to see them were all very happy to see the 12 rooms decorated splendidly and magnificently. Curiosity motivated her. She said,
"I don't intend to open the 13th door so we can go inside and see, but I want to leave it open so we can have a look."
Angels, intervene.
"Don't open it. So it's a sin against Mary, don't do it."
The girl was silent, but her curiosity made her restless, and when the angels were gone, she had a thought.
"Now as for me, if I peeked in, no one would know."
She rummaged around and put the key in the lock and turned. The door flew open. She saw God sitting in the midst of a fiery halo. She stood dumbfounded and looked at it. Curiously, she reached out and in and out of the halo. Her fingers immediately turned golden. Frightened, she slammed the door shut and ran away. The panic made her heart skip a beat. Even so, cleaning the brush no matter how much yellow it is on the fingers. Not long after, the Virgin Mary returned, called her to hand over the keys. She looked directly at the girl's face and asked,
"Did you open the 13th door?"
"No."
The Virgin Mary put her hand on the little girl's chest. Seeing her heart pounding, she immediately knew she had disobeyed and opened the door of her own accord. Our Lady asked again,
"Are you sure you didn't open the door?"
Again the girl said,
"No, sir."
Looking at the little girl's golden finger, Mary knew immediately that she had reached out and touched the halo. He knew right away that the girl had made a mistake, but he still asked for the third time.
"Did you open that door?"
This third time, the girl still replied,
"No, sir."
Then Mary said,
"You don't listen to me. Then you still lie. You don't deserve to be in the upper world anymore." Suddenly the girl fell asleep. When she woke up, she found herself lying in the deep forest. She wanted to open her mouth to scream but couldn't speak. She got up and tried to run away from this place, but she was caught in every direction by thorns, and she could not get out.
In the middle of this desolate place there was an old tree, yes. A hollow stump might be a good hiding place, she thought, and tried to crawl to the stump as darkness fell. She slept soundly in the tree hole without fear of wind or rain. But life here is so hard. Looking at the sky, where the angels are playing, suddenly she burst into tears. Her food is only roots, tubers, and wild berries. Next fall, she tries to gather chestnuts and leaves and bring them back to her den in the tree. Her food for the winter is the chestnuts she collects. When it snowed, it was cold. She huddled in the pile of leaves to avoid the cold like other miserable wild animals. Then her clothes were torn to pieces. When the hot summer sun shines down, she goes to sit in the sun, her hair falling like a coat over her body. She lived in desolate, miserable poverty year after year. That time, when spring came, the trees sprouted green shoots all over the forest. The king went hunting deer. The deer ran right into the bushes, got off his horse and used his sword to cut the thorn bushes to open the way. When he got there, the king saw a beautiful girl sitting under a tree, her blonde hair falling all the way to her feet. The king was surprised at that scene, stood watching, and then asked,
"Who are you?" But why sit in such a desolate place?
Typecast.
She couldn't move her lips to answer. The king asked again.
Will you come with me to the palace?
She nodded slightly in agreement. The king picked her up and put her on his horse and brought her home.
Typecast.
Arriving at the palace, the king gave her many beautiful clothes and all kinds of jewelry. Although she was silent, she was so beautiful and cute that the king loved her so much, and then a wedding was
Typecast.
held. The following year, the queen gave birth to a son. That very night, while the queen was lying alone in bed, Our Lady appeared and said,
If you tell the truth and confess, it was you who opened the forbidden door, then I will open your mouth and give you back your old voice. If you persist in your sins, I will take this newborn baby with you.
The queen just hummed and said,
Typecast.
I did not open the forbidden door.
Our Lady took the child and went away. The next morning, no one saw the new baby. Everyone whispered, the queen cannibals, and apparently ate her own. The queen heard the rumors of the world, but could not open her mouth to justify herself. The king loved the queen very much, so he did not believe the rumors. The following year, the queen gave birth to a son again. That same night, Our Lady appeared again and said,
If you confess that you opened the forbidden door, I will return you and free your tongue. If you persist in your sins, I will take this newborn baby with you.
Again the queen said,
No, I don't open the forbidden door.
Our Lady picked up the baby and carried it to heaven.
Typecast.
Early the next morning, when the child had disappeared, rumors spread that the queen had swallowed her child. The whole court decided to immediately execute the queen. The king loved the queen, so he ordered that no one in the court should talk about it anymore. The following year, the queen gave birth to a daughter, and for the third time Mary appeared in the dead of night and said,
Typecast.
Follow me.
She took the queen's hand and led her to heaven, and pointed to where the queen's two sons were playing by the sphere. The queen was very pleased. At that time Our Lady said,
Typecast.
Is your heart at peace now? If you confess that you opened the forbidden door, I will give back the two sons of old.
For the third time the queen said,
No, I don't open the forbidden door.
Typecast.
Our Lady left the queen alone on earth and kept her newborn daughter. Early the next morning, when everyone heard the news, they shouted in unison.
The queen cannibals should be brought to trial.
The king did not know how to speak. The trial of the queen was open because she could not open her mouth to justify herself, so the queen was sentenced to death by cremation. The fire began to burn.
Typecast.
The queen was tied to the post. When the fire gradually spread around, the queen regretted it and thought, only before she died would she confess that she had opened the forbidden door. Suddenly the queen said loudly,
Mary, it was I who opened the forbidden door.
The sky suddenly poured down torrential rain and extinguished the fire, and then the Virgin Mary and two boys, she held the little girl in her arms, appeared right above the queen's head. Our Lady happily said,
Whoever repents of his mistake and confesses, that person will be forgiven.
Our Lady gave the queen 3 children, returned her voice, and blessed the queen.